Hey everybody, this is your girl Mo Thoughts here. I'm coming at you today. Finally doing this poetry mukbang video. I hope y'all enjoy it. Let me get the lighting going on. I'm getting the lighting going on so you can see it. I'm finally doing a poetry mukbang video. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and now I finally get to do a poetry mukbang video. So anyway, this video is just about how I got started in poetry and my style of poetry, so that way y'all will have a better understanding of, you know, my process for doing poetry and how it all started. And I'm eating this wonderful, delicious food today. Compliments of my mom. This is sponsored by my mom. Potatoes. It's my first time eating in front of everybody on the video. But anyway, I'm going to have fun with this, and I hope y'all enjoy this video. So, my name is V Mayo. And I started doing spoken word poetry in the year of 2012. So I've actually been doing spoken word poetry for about 8 years. I write, the way that I write, I don't consistently write, but I get like spouts of inspiration. Like I can go like 6 months without writing a whole lot of stuff, and then all of a sudden, if I go through a situation or if I go through something, then I will start writing, and then I'll back off and share poetry. Sometimes I post to Facebook. I do Facebook Lives. Sometimes I do YouTube videos. And sometimes I write poems for other people, just like if I'm going through something, you know, I take time to share my poems, you know, with others, like write a poem especially for someone else. Especially when I'm going through a situation where I just need to deal with stuff. It helps me to deal with stuff doing spoken word poetry. And how I discovered spoken word poetry is that I was dating a guy at the time who introduced me to the genre of spoken word poetry. And, you know, I was used to poetry as far as like Maya Angelou, Nikki Giovanni, and some of the other poets. But I found that it was a way for me to express my feelings, to express different things that were going on with me. So I first started doing spoken word poetry in 2012, and the first poem that I wrote was called Keeping the Faith, and a pastor by the name of Pastor Derek Lyons, he gave me the opportunity to do spoken word poetry in Raleigh. I did it at Saturday Night Gospel Live. So that was the first time that I ever did spoken word poetry in front of an audience. I hadn't ever did spoken word poetry until 2012. I didn't know the ins and outs of it. I just kind of started writing and expressing myself in a poetic way or a poetic voice. You know, I didn't have any other poets around me that were doing it. I was living in Raleigh at the time, so I was just doing it in my own way. I didn't know the form of it. I was just into the expression of it. So it's like, when I listen to other poets, I was like, why don't I do it like that? But, you know, I just do it in kind of like a chilled out kind of way. Like, for example, the poem like Keeping the Faith, I would like, the way I do it is like, keeping the faith. What is faith? Now faith is the substance of all things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Faith is that invisible force that you cannot see, you cannot touch it, you cannot taste it, you cannot feel it, you just have it. Faith moving things from one realm to another realm, on earth as it is in heaven. Whatever you desire to come into manifestation is already in manifest. So it's kind of like a chilled type of way, and I'm working on bringing more of my poem out, you know. But I focus on like writing. Like if I get an idea of something, I write it out, and then I express it. So I work on my message first. I work on the words first, and then I work on how the poem is going to go. So, but I'm still working on that part. But I thoroughly enjoy the process of writing. I usually write from experience. I write from, about different stuff that's going on in the world and stuff. I've evolved. I used to write about how it did not work out in relationships, how it did not work out with certain things. So I used to write about that a lot. But now I have evolved and I started writing about faith. I started writing about relationship with God and, different things like that. So, but so that's sort of my style. It's kind of like a chilled style, but I'm working on putting some more oomph to it, putting some more energy into it. So, yeah, so that's what I'm working on with that. So that's what's going on with that. This shrimp is so good. So that's a little background. So as I work on becoming a better poet, as I work on being a better person, I become a better poet. I work on my message first, because anything that I write, I want to make sure that it has a message that is going to encourage and inspire and uplift. So some stuff, like I'll start out writing, some stuff is for me. Like I'll write about, no, I'm just going to keep this for me. And then some poems, somebody needs to hear. Like I deliver my poems like a prophetic message, so to speak. If I have a message, I say, okay, I'm going to put this in poem form and share it with other people on Facebook Live or on Instagram and stuff like that. So that's the background of how I got into spoken word poetry and how I'm working on my craft. It's been a process, because I don't really always work on it every day. I work on it here and there, but I got to work on that. I got to work on that more, about doing something every day. And since we've been in this quarantine, it's been the perfect time to actually work on it more. So I just wanted to give a little background about how I got started in spoken word poetry and how my style is and why my style is the way it is, and my process of how I write. I usually write like a story, like I put it in a story form, and then I add poetic elements, and then, let it flow that way, and then I express it out to y'all. So yeah, so I just wanted to do this video. I had a chance to do this video so you'll know a little bit more about me, and change up my content and stuff like that. And I'm gonna come back and do another poetry mukbang where I'm actually sharing some poems with you all. So I'm gonna be practicing and working on my poetry and things like that. So Mo Thoughts. Now you know a little bit about Mo Thoughts and what my process is. And so when you hear me do poetry, you'll know, oh, okay, that's her style or whatever, which I'm working on that. So